Hi everyone, we are back on our YouTube channel, Raid OverSimplified. This is going to be a high effort video for me because this is the kind of stuff that I started this channel for. Everyone in the community agrees that this guy is extremely difficult to deal with, but the only advice that I'm really seeing on YouTube and Twitch and such is to skip him. While running from him really may not be a bad idea, but I mean, it's a horrendous life philosophy that I would not want to make a habit of. So for that reason, we are hunting for Hegemon today. Before we get to the actual hunting part, let's take a look at this guy first. His name is a real word, meaning a dominant source of influence, pretty much. His lore ties in with his name really well. He was a commanding field general that fell to the dark side and got even stronger, a lot like Anakin. Good or bad, I don't care. This guy is the current scourge of the arena at 31.99, and if you are watching this, then the odds are you probably don't have one, so that should be more than enough reasons for you to hate him. Since most of us can't pull him, the next best thing we can do is think of the best way to counter him. Currently, there isn't a super convenient single champion counter to him, besides possibly himself. I'm sure eventually that once enough people have bought all the void shards and still fail to pull them, they will make something that is a great counter. For example, something like that has a passive that can silence the opposing champion's passive or somehow nullify it some other way. It will probably also be a void legendary, of course. Everyone knows he is good and why he is good, but I haven't seen anyone really do a deep dive to explain how exactly he is good. So let's break this guy down to a science. It's really two oppressively strong things that makes him difficult to deal with. The first is that he gets to write his own law on speed. This basically ensures he always goes first, and as history tells us, anytime that you can write your own law, it's a dangerous situation. The speed thing is actually a two-tier problem. One, obviously you can't outspeed him because he always goes first. And secondly, as I've mentioned in multiple videos, the turn meter is notoriously fickle in this game. And when you manipulate it on the scale that he does, it can severely disrupt your own turn order because your team is probably not built to adjust to his own speed laws like his teams might be. The next thing that makes him difficult to deal with is that he applies an AoE block cooldown skills. It's noteworthy to mention here that this is not a block skill cooldown, where for a few turns your ability will not have its cooldown reduced, but a block cooldown skill, so even if your skill is not on cooldown, you still can't use it. That's pretty annoying. I realized that after the very first time I faced him in the arena, that in order to consistently beat him, playing checkers is just not going to be working, so we gotta figure out how to play chess against this guy. The strategy I came up with utilizes two specific weaknesses of Hegemon. One is that his A2 here is an AoE attack that does damage, and the way that a lot of people likes to build him is that it does quite a bit of damage, but never actually enough damage. So this in reality is a pretty severe weakness because his base attack is pretty low for an attacker at 1487, and if you have to stack an incredible amount of accuracy on him for that A2 block skill cooldown, there's just not enough substats to feed all the crit rate, crit damage, and attack for him to deal that much damage. And he always goes first, so he doesn't get the benefit of attack buff and defense and weaken debuffs. So these factors combined makes it basically impossible for him to one-hit KO your more defense-oriented champions. We can take advantage of the damage he deals in two ways: the Frenzy set and defensive masteries, which gives us turn meter, cleanse, and counterattack. His second weakness is that he is really only good for one turn. We can ignore him for 4 full turns after that initial turn, and in arena, that is the rest of the battle. After turn 1, it may even be in our best interest that I've realized to keep him alive if we have a slower team. Oftentimes, people will pair him with Lysandra. Lysandra is a detriment of the immunity set when paired with Hegemon, I have come to realize, because she will set off 2 additional nukes, and it's just difficult for your team to be equipped to handle that. But his passive also completely hamstrings Lysandra's speed, and when we're on a frenzy set, we can very easily outspeed her because of his passive. Okay, we're gonna start this off with a bang. This guy's in Gallifrey, pretty serious player power and team power here. The Shazar lead for a huge speed boost. I'm gonna guess that this Arbiter is pretty fast. The reason I have Frenzy instead of Immunity is because it lets Scar Torsus. I don't actually have to outspeed the Arbiter, right? If she was really fast. I only have to have a higher turn meter than she does. So between Molly's passive and Scar Torsus on Frenzy, it gives me more turn meter immediately after Hegemon, and that is the most important turn of this entire match. So here, he lost quite a bit of health, so quite a bit of turn meter gain. These guys were all debuffed, so we can use this. It heals, boosts turn meter, and cleanses. So, alright, now these guys are clean. Then we can use this to buff everyone's attack. I really wanted to have Draco in here, but he's not built for this. I don't have him on Frenzy, and I only have 1 Draco, so I can't dedicate him for just this one purpose. And then here, Molly, her passive has already been procced. It gave us our turn meter already. And then here we will use this provoke and provoke everyone on their team. So that buys us an extra turn. Let's say that something went seriously wrong. Molly, if she's able to resist, will buy us the extra turn. And the Arbiter also, I've had pretty high resist on her, and she is also able to revive and buff and heal and all the Arbiter things that she does. But luckily for this particular match, it didn't have to come to that. Our number 1 threat to neutralize at this point is probably this Arbiter. I don't really want her reviving, but since she's provoked, we'll just take out this Bigon first, because this A1 is still pretty dangerous. Okay, so there we go. Bigon is down. Arbiter's not going to revive because she's provoked. Now she's frozen. Well, I guess it's kind of redundant. The freeze just gave her 10% damage reduction. That's unfortunate for me. I guess it really doesn't matter at this point. So this is pretty typical of this comp I came up with against Hegemon teams. If we can beat this guy, we can pretty much beat most of them, if not all of them. So there we go, that wraps that up neatly. Alright, this guy's also in one of those top 10 clans. This is just a ridiculously nasty team. Was a really good Hegemon. His team power was, I don't know, 215k, something like that. Pretty ridiculous. Okay, the Hegemon killed himself. Cool. Arbiter's always annoying. She revives everyone, but it's okay. We have Baron. These Arbiter teams are also pretty popular in similar vein to Lysandra that I mentioned. So this one actually has some serious accuracy, but it's okay. We need to get this Arbiter down, otherwise she is going to revive everyone. Okay, we might not be able to get the Arbiter down. Let's see. So we're gonna leave him alive. Okay, that's fine. Alright, that's GG, right? Alright, so here we found another one, right? Very similar concept. Triple nuker and one support. And everyone was able to resist. So this, for all intents and purposes, this match is over. So we'll do our usual buffs. We'll provoke. And make sure that if something goes wrong, we get that extra turn. We'll just do this. Alright, he's gonna bring everyone back, and that's okay. I don't know. Let's just attack him. That sausage is hilarious. Oh, Xavier has the block revive. Well, that's really annoying. Yeah, okay, this is over. Okay. Alright, lesson well learned on why we should not mess around in the arena. Arena is serious business. But anyway, so this is my Scartorsis. She has this, or I guess he has this pretty good chest on him. I had one with HP that was actually quite a bit faster, but it doesn't work because it boosts his HP too high. He doesn't lose enough of a percentage for Frenzy to kick in, and it doesn't cut in as much as I would like to. So that's problem number one. And two, he definitely resists a lot more with the extra 90 something resistance. We've got this banner, so pretty decent speed, defense, HP. I really wish this defense wasn't here, but it is, and that's okay. It is what it is. So another 96 resistance, and that's really valuable. And the other culprit is Molly. So I have shown her before. There's a Molly video. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll link it at the end of this video. And she is on frost accuracy with some pretty decent resistance. Her base is really high, but definitely not Scartorsis level, simply because in theory he should go first, and if he resists he should be able to cleanse her. But if she, for whatever reason, he doesn't, she does have this, you know, what I would consider a backup resist here. My Great Hall for Spirit is pretty bad. Resistance and accuracy are both low, so definitely need to get that up. Also, I am missing a really good Dwarf resistance banner. This one's at 78, was just defense and speed, and not even high speed at that, so Molly can definitely improve. Okay, so we found this guy here. He is actually in Gods and Legends. Won't name him, I don't know him, but that's a pretty serious clan. So if we can take out his team with 175k team power here, we should be able to take out pretty much any of the Hegemon teams. This guy is the strongest I was able to run into, and as you can see here, same deal applies. So yeah, that's pretty much, that's game. Alright everyone, that is pretty much it for how I'm currently countering Hegemon. I've thought of a ton of things, but this is just the one that I found works the best for me. Ask me if you have a specific comp you have in mind. I'm sure there's way more ways to counter it than just this one, but this one I found to be really consistent. I'm sure some of you are wondering what happens when Skartorsis is skill blocked. At 440 resistance after I swapped out his chest, it only happened to me one time since I've been using this comp in like 30 some matches. The one that it did happen, it just kind of turned into a slugfest. Had to rely on Arbiter and Molly to slug it out in the end. The rest of this video will just be some of the fights that I recorded against various Hegemon teams. If you do decide to stick around and watch it, I hope you feel vindicated in some sense for all the times that you may or may not have lost to this guy. But that's it for our video today. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the grind and have a great day.
Okay.